Now at midday, the field is set for another day of Indy 500 practice begins. Our sports team has the latest trackside at the Speedway. What has one local lawmaker feeling optimistic about debt ceiling negotiations? Why Representative Greg Pence believes the deal will get done in time.
And it's a beautiful day across here today. In fact, check out this live picture right now at Morse Reservoir in Cicero. Blue skies, sunshine, hardly a breeze, temperature at 71. Get used to it. Warmer weather is on the way, along with some sunshine.
Bringing women into the field, the effort being made to bring more women from the sidelines to pit lane, and how you can spread the word to get them on the track.
News 8 Midday starts now.
And we're taking a live look outside the JW Marriott. You see the Indy 500 emblem plastered right there on side of the building. Beautiful day to start that practice down at the racetrack. We'll join now with Randy. We have some good weather ahead.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Katiera, we're going to keep our fingers crossed here, but it looks pretty nice through the weekend. One model that says there could be a spotty shower on Sunday, but we're going to kind of ignore that right now. And we're going to stay with that dry forecast there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, outside right now, enjoy it on this Monday live at the Speedway. Sunshine galore, hardly a breeze out there, just maybe a few cirrus clouds. Temperature a perfect 72.
Access Indy, the 500 Speedway today. Presented by CareSource and Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
It's finally the week of the Indianapolis 500. The greatest spectacle in racing happens this Sunday. Let's head out to the track where our Angela Morian is live. Angela, the field of 33 is set. What's it like out there in the garages?
Good morning, Katiera. It's a toasty morning out here.
Switching gears here, police say road rage on 465 led to gunfire, wounding a 19-year-old man. It happened yesterday afternoon near Brookville Road. State police say the man was driving his car onto the interstate when the conflict happened. Troopers say the other driver shouted, swerved, and eventually fired several shots, hitting the victim. Police say a passenger in the car switched seats with the driver to get him to a hospital, but medics caught up with them first. We're working to get an update on the victim's condition. Investigators have not released a description of the car or truck or the shooter was in. Your statewide news network covers Lake County, where authorities say a man is dead and his 2 children were injured in a grenade explosion. The Lake County Sheriff's Department says it happened Saturday evening in Lakes of the Four Seasons. According to the department, the family had been going through their grandfather's belongings when they found a hand grenade. The department says someone pulled the pin on the device and it detonated. Authorities say a man was found unresponsive at the scene and was later pronounced dead. They say the man's 14-year-old son and 18-year-old daughter were hurt. Wish TV is Indiana's education station. Today, the Perry Township School Board unanimously approved a new weapons detection system. According to school officials, the equipment will be installed at Perry Meridian and Southport High Schools. They say it will use an electromagnetic field and low-frequency technologies to find guns, knives, and explosives. The district says the project will be funded by bonds marked specifically for repairs and renovations. Officials say they expect the total cost to reach nearly $1.5 million. We will bring you the details of that meeting beginning at News 8 at 6. Happening today, FEMA says it will reopen a disaster recovery center in Clinton County. It will be at the county's emergency management building on Jackson Street in Frankfort. The center will be open from 8 until 6 o'clock today and tomorrow. It will also be open from 8 until 5 o'clock Wednesday. Anyone impacted by the severe weather in late March can apply for FEMA aid. The deadline to apply is June 14th. An Indiana Republican in Congress is expressing optimism about getting a debt deal done in time. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist spoke with Representative Greg Pence for this week's edition of All Indiana Politics.
Congressman Greg Pence says negotiators are keeping the details of their discussions quiet.
First, look at the renovations to an Indianapolis landmark. The Stutz building held an open house and block party Sunday. The building has been closed for the revamp. The event offered a look at the new courtyard and retail offerings. We asked the creative director of the building for her favorite features.
Oh gosh. In terms of what stood out the most in terms of this transformation, it's really hard to pick because there's so many like beautiful things happening. I would say what this courtyard looks like with the restaurants and the lights and the music, that to me is the most exciting thing right now.
The open house also featured food from nearby restaurants, live art demonstrations, a race car simulator, and music. Well, the track is ready to bring back another event. Once the Indy 500 is over, it's welcoming back the IMSA Battle on the Bricks, a sports racing event. News 8's Amisha Ramsey has what fans can look forward to.
It's been nearly a decade since IMS has hosted.
Thank you, Amisha. The daughter of a former IndyCar owner is working to get more women into motorsports. Michelle De La Pena grew up on the racetrack with her father, John De La Pena. She founded the De La Pena Motorsports Next Gen Foundation in 2021. It's in an effort to empower girls and young women to follow their dreams, particularly when it comes to motorsports.
This is a total labor of love for me. I absolutely love it. Motorsports is near and dear to my heart. I've grown up in this sport, and I just want it to look more representative of the world that we live in.
Right now, the foundation is offering its first fellowship to a high school girl in Indianapolis. De La Pena says whoever is chosen will be able to meet with women in the industry, sit in on meetings, and learn about different career opportunities. We have a link to apply to the foundation on our website right now. Grab your phone and scan the QR code on your screen that will take you to the As Seen on Wish TV section where you can click on the story. So, Randy, good news for those girls who want to get into motorsports. Good news for those drivers who are doing those practice laps over at the Motor Speedway.
I always tell students, go after that passion in life. You know, we all have a passion.
WNBA star Brittany Griner hits the hardwood again next at midday. How her homecoming welcome played out in Phoenix.
Your ticket to everything Indy 500. Wish TV.
2 games, 2 losses for the Indiana Fever. They fell to the New York Liberty yesterday 90-7-3. Top pick Aaliyah Boston had 15. IU's Grace Berger got her first minutes of the season, but New York dominated with a team record 45 points from Breanna Stewart. The Fever got a week off before playing the Atlanta Dream Sunday. Also marked the return of Brittany Griner to basketball, her first game since she returned from a 10-month stay in a prison in Russia. The Phoenix Mercury marked the occasion with a ceremony that included a poetry reading. Griner finished with 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks in a loss to Chicago. A 5th career major for Brooks Koepka. Koepka is significant for the tour where he now plays. Koepka pulled away from the field in the final round at the PGA Championship in Oak Hill Sunday. He buried 7 birdies on his way to a 2-stroke victory that was rarely threatened. It's his 3rd PGA title, 5th major of his career, and 1st by a live golfer. Wish TV golf expert Jason Alexander weighs in on the significance to the game.
I think it's great for golf. Look, these 2 tours have settled in. We've kind of talked about it a little bit on prior shows, but the LIV Tour is not going anywhere. So I think it's great for the media. I think it's great for golf. Let's build both brands, and everyone needs to relax and I think embrace it just a little bit. But wonderful for the LIV Tour. Koepka said he's playing for himself. It's a major, but it's great publicity, and it's a good thing for the LIV Golf Tour to have a major champion that's on their roster.
The breakout star of the weekend was not a player from either tour, but a teaching pro named Michael Block. He ended what was already a storybook tournament with a hole-in-one on number 15. Block finished 15th overall, assuring himself a spot in next year's field.
Only statewide TV news network. News 8 continues now.
We're taking a live look downtown from the Speedway. I've talked to you about this before, Randy. I like these warmer temperatures. I know you mentioned you like it a little bit cooler, but this is okay for this time of the year.
I think everybody's happy with this, Katiera. It's not too humid out there, not too cold, not too warm. Just right, I think, you know. So.
Yeah, like Goldilocks.
Yeah, there you go. And I think we're going to be okay for the much of this week here. So we'll show you outside another picture. This is a look here.
Happening today, a potentially pivotal meeting on the nation's debt limit. President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are set to meet again at the White House. The pair spoke by phone yesterday as the president returned home from the G7 summit in Japan. Biden says the call went well. Republicans and Democrats have for several months been in a standoff over the debt ceiling. Republicans want the bump tied to spending cuts. The president has proposed a budget that locks in current levels.
Now it's time for the other side to move from their extreme positions, because much of what they've already proposed is simply, quite frankly, unacceptable.
I mean, waiting those 97 days and now changing positions every day, that's not productive. I'm glad he's finally getting back into the country.
As we've reported, the Treasury Department says the U.S. could default on its debt as soon as June 1st. Happening today, the city of Uvalde has canceled its scheduled council meetings and all city-sanctioned events for the rest of the week. It's to mark the one-year anniversary of the deadly Robb Elementary School shooting. City leaders also say they'll provide a public address today as well. The school is permanently closed, and the criminal investigation over the hesitant police response is still underway. It will be a year on Wednesday, May 24th, that a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers inside a 4th grade classroom. It took police an hour to take down the gunman. City leaders say this week is set aside to allow the community to grieve and remember the victims. The NAACP is warning people not to travel to Florida, calling recently passed laws hostile. It issued a travel advisory over the weekend, joining 2 other civil rights groups. The NAACP says Governor Ron DeSantis and other state officials are openly hostile towards African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ+ individuals. The League of United Latin American Citizens and Equality Florida also issued travel advisories for the state. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is calling for an investigation into a nonprofit accused of lying about homeless veteran evictions. The uproar began after Adams bussed a small group of asylum seekers to the Crossroads Hotel. The hotel, part of the Yerrick Israel Tony Foundation, led by Sharon Tony Finch. Finch said the hotel evicted nearly 24 homeless veterans to make room for the migrants. A local newspaper, the Mid-Hudson News, reported Tony Finch offered several men money to pose as veterans kicked out of the hotel. She has denied all allegations. Adams says it's not clear if Tony Finch broke any laws.
What the people in Ukraine are defending, what you've achieved, is a matter for the entire world to observe, and they're in awe of what you've done so far. Really and truly, it's incredible.
President Biden praises his Ukrainian counterpart as Volodymyr Zelensky meets with Biden and other world leaders in Sunday's final day of the G7 in Japan. During the meeting, Biden and Zelensky discussed the new $375 million military aid package from the U.S., which includes more ammunition, artillery, and armored vehicles for Ukraine. The Axiom 2 private space shuttle is set to arrive at the International Space Station later today. The crew includes former NASA astronaut Petty Whitson, American businessman and race car driver John Schaffner, and pilot and 2 mission specialists from the Saudi Space Commission, which marks the first woman from Saudi Arabia to enter space. SpaceX launched the rocket yesterday from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The crew will spend about 10 days conducting stem cell research and other science experiments. Here is what the crew had to say when they reached space.
Pretty amazing. Describe the feeling when the second stage kicks the Dragon off into orbit. You realize instantly you're weightless. And it's just an amazing feeling.
To the people around the world, well, the future is very bright, and I would like you to dream big, believe in yourselves, and believe in humanity.
Now, this is the second private flight to ISS organized by Axiom Space. The company plans to start adding its own rooms to the station in a few years, then form a standalone station. In your health spotlight, we've come a long way in the fight against breast cancer. Now doctors have a new tool to diagnose hard-to-find tumors. News 8's Lena Pringle has the story. In the past 30 years,
Access Indy, the 500 Speedway Today. Presented by CareSource and Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
the field of 33 is set for the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500. It's set up to be one of the tightest races in the Indy 500 history. Let's go back out to our Angela Morian, who is live at the garages where teams are getting ready for this afternoon's practices. Angela, how are these drivers feeling this afternoon?
Hey, Katiera, we're standing in front.
Vibes happening right now. We're taking a live look at the zoo. Beautiful day to be outside. Beautiful day to be at the track. Beautiful to stretch out your legs like Ariel, Randy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, Katiera. It's just whatever you want to do, it's fantastic weather. And I think most of the week's going to be A-OK. So we do have a cold front coming down on Wednesday. Here's a live picture of the Speedway.